our prayer is that it's been very fruitful and valuable, added value to your life. If you're ready for a word, say, oh yeah. The book of James, chapter number 1, verse number 21. If you don't have it, don't have the Bible app, don't even trip. It's going to be right here on the screen. It says this: therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent and humbly accept the word planted in you. Somebody say in you, which can save you. Now say save you. That's extremely important. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Get rid of the moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent. That's interesting. I want to put a tag on this text and teach from this topic. On your way back down to your seat, just say, I've got issues. I've got issues. I got to tell the truth. I got issues. And if you're next to a person that just said that they have issues, just look at them and say, I know you do. I can see. I can see. Family, I remember Pastor Sonja and I, when we first got married, y'all, we had this car. Right? And this car was an interesting car. This car was, for lack of a better term, or lack of a better words, this car was unpredictable. It was an unpredictable car. You say, well, how do you have a car that's unpredictable? Well, let me explain. Most people, when they put the key into the ignition, they expect for the car to crank up, right? That's pretty predictable behavior. We would put our key in the ignition and our car would crank up when it felt like it. And then sometimes it wouldn't, maybe just when it didn't feel like it. So the car, in a real sense, determined whether or not we went somewhere, not whether or not we actually wanted to be there. It was 100% how the car was feeling. Don't look at me like you've never had an unpredictable car. Shoot. That's right. So our car was unpredictable. One day we took the car to the mechanic. I call him the $1 million mechanic. Why is he the $1 million mechanic? Well, because whenever you take your car to a mechanic, you end up spending. Okay. Sorry if there's any mechanics out there today. So we took our car to the mechanic and he comes up. I'm standing there in this lot of 1 million cars, right? There's 1,000, you know how it is. You take the car to the mechanic, there's thousands of cars that are unfixed at the place that fixes cars. I don't understand it. I'm getting ready to try to figure out if you are supposed to fix cars. How come all of it? Okay, anyway. So take the car to this guy. He comes out. And I began immediately to tell him all of the things that's wrong with this car because I'm frustrated because I can't even make plans. I got to check with my car in order to make plans. So I tell this guy, I say, man, something's got to be wrong with this car. He said, what's wrong with the car? I said, well, first of all, I put the key in the ignition. Sometimes it cranks, sometimes it doesn't. He said, I said, well, he said, what else is going on? I said, well, the braking system doesn't always brake the way I want it to. It stops, but it doesn't stop the same way all the time. So it's very unpredictable. He says, okay. I said, sometimes I'm listening in the car and the radio, the music will spike up real loud and then come back down. And all kind of stuff is going on with this car. This car is a little bit crazy. Something's wrong. The car has a demon. I didn't say that, but I felt like that in my spirit. I didn't tell him that. I should have. I should have told him about the demon that's in the car. It's a spirit. And so he says, he shakes his head, looks at me. Then he says, okay, I hear what you're saying. And then he immediately jumps up, runs back into the office. He runs into the office. Now, here I am sitting in the middle of this sea of unfixed cars in a place that's supposed to fix cars. Here I am in the middle of this place. This guy just runs away from, I don't know if he didn't hear what I said. I don't know if he has running to do something better. I don't know what the issue is. I just know that I have an unpredictable car asking somebody to fix it, and he left me. So here it is. He comes back with this machine in his hand. Watch this. He comes back with this machine in his hand, and then he begins to go into the driver's side of my car. He gets into the driver's side, looks underneath the steering wheel, pops open some little lever, and he puts this machine, connects it in his hand to the system. I guess, I don't know what it was. He connects it to the car. So he begins to shake his head at the thing and said, okay. And I'm tripping because here's one thing about me you may not know is I know Christ, I don't know cars. I know the Trinity. I don't know transmitters. Or what's they called? Missions. See, look at there. I know the Savior. I don't know starters. You get the point. All I know is that if you put gas in the car, it'll go. When it's not unpredictable. So here it is. He comes and he has this thing plugged up to the car, and I'm tripping because I'm trying to figure out what does this have to do with the car. I told you that my car does not crank. Could you please open up the hood, get into the engine, because that's where everything is supposed to run through. So if the car's not moving, it got to be the engine. He looks at me and he says, I see what the problem is. The problem is not your alternator. The problem is not your starter. The problem is your computer. I'm tripping. Because I know Christ, not cars. I know the Trinity, not transmissions. I know the Savior. I don't know starters. I'm tripping because I did not know that cars had computers. Y'all knew that? Why y'all didn't tell me? Y'all said they knew all this information. I did not know that a car had a computer. I'm frustrated at this guy. You're looking in the wrong place. And he said, no, for what you're telling me, the issue is not there. The issue is the computer. So I'm tripping. I'm bugged out because, in essence, what he was saying to me is, I'm looking for the issue in the symptom. But the issue is not in the symptom. The issue is in the root sickness. So if I have him change out my starter, yes, I'll have a new starter, but because the system is faulty. I said, man, indicator lights are going on and off in my car. He says, yeah, I understand completely now. I understand completely now. Your issue is not, here's what he didn't say, but this is what I heard, because I got preacher ears and I hear everything in the way of a sermon. He said, the symptoms that you're experiencing are a result of a compromised system that's running on the inside of it. So he says the problem is not the car, the problem is the computer. The starter is a symptom, the system is the sickness. And if I let the system, if I let him fix the symptoms and not address the sickness, I will have new alternators, new transmissions, a new battery, and the same software that's the fault, that's the reason for the issue. It messed me up because I don't know cars. I don't know transmissions. I know you put gas in it and it goes. But maybe there's something to what he was saying. And the essence of what he was saying is that I want to deal with the real thing. There's some of us that have symptom faith. It's that, God, I believe you to fix my symptoms, because symptoms are the thing that people see. I don't like when somebody sees that I have a cold. They can see me sneezing. They can see me blowing my nose, because that brings a set of distance in other people's mind. They don't want to be around you. I don't like the fact when people see my symptoms. But God is like, I'm not trying to deal with the symptoms. I'm trying to get to the real sickness. So symptom faith is, I got faith enough for God to fix the things that people see. Whereas system faith says, God, don't just fix the things that people see. Fix the things that's influencing my decisions, that do the things that I know I shouldn't do, but I keep on doing. Okay, I knew it's going to be tough today. All right, okay. There is something to be said about vices. Y'all say vices. We've been journeying through this vices series, and I want to say this from the outset, just so that nobody feels any kind of way. I'm an equal opportunity offender. All of us have vices. I have a vice, you got a vice, Oprah, you got a vice, you get a vice. All of us, we are born in sin and shaped in iniquity, right? We all have a vice. What is a vice? Great question. A vice is a nefarious natural lean that, if left unchecked, will choke us. Nefarious, wicked, evil. We all have something that, if we're not intentional about, will take us out. If I had time, I do. We all have something that God doesn't always take away. And what do you do when you're praying for God to take something away and he tells you you need to learn how to manage it? So we're like, deliverance, deliverance, and deliverance is great. Trust me, I believe in it. But sometimes God does not take a thing away. He gives us the grace to manage it. Y'all gonna catch that Wednesday on the way to work. So the question, since we all have a vice, and Romans tells us that we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. You know what that word all means in the original language? It means all. It means everybody. It wasn't deep. In the Greek, it means everybody, right? All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. A vice is our default leaning. It's our totally depraved state, right? Right? That's why when people say, I'm a good person. Who told you that? You're a good person to you. Right? Or when people say, I was born that way, I don't argue. There's nothing to argue about. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's between you, your mama, and your Savior. But here's what I do know. Because, okay, let me make it plain. All of us are born with certain leanings towards certain things. Hello. There are certain things you like. Hell, let me see if I can get my real church. 10 o'clock left me hanging. There are certain things we like that we know we shouldn't like, but we like it. Sometimes our appetites are not always right. There are some things we tried and we said, ooh, I like that. I'm going back for seconds and thirds. Okay, so the real people. So now that I can preach to the real people, we all have a vice. You notice what I just said? You all. I didn't say you all. I said we all. We all have a vice. That means if I'm not intentional about something, it'll choke me out. It'll suffocate me. My vice. So the question is not whether or not you have a vice. The question is whether or not the vice has you. And y'all, I knew it was going to be like this. I'm going to get to this in a second. Because of the subject matter today, I felt you. Wednesday, I was in study, and I felt you. Straight up and down. I said, oh, yeah, this is that one. Y'all, there's a vice. There's a vice that we've got to deal with. So if you would do me a favor and lean in, because we're about to have a love conversation. There's a vice, and this thing is so potent that people have downplayed it, others have excused it, but God desires to address it. There's a vice that has a vice grip on believers. This vice is the software system that's impacting the performance of many of the saints. This vice is skipped over on many people's preaching calendars, but needs to be addressed immediately. This vice is regularly reduced to emotional outbursts, but it's much more than that. This vice that I'm talking about is called anger. Somebody say wrath. Oh, yeah, that's the biblical, Anger. These two words, anger and wrath, are oftentimes linked together for good reasons, but there is a nuance to both of them. There's a nuance because let me just give you this first. There is justifiable reason for I'll say it like this: there's appropriate anger, right? There are some things we should be angry about. There are some things that we should 100% be angry about. What are those things? Sin, injustice, racism, you name it, the nepotism even in many cases, favoritism, right? All the isms. There are things that we should be angry about, that should anger us. What are those things? The things that should anger us are things that angers God, right? In a real sense, how does God feel about certain things? If God is mad, I'm mad too. You ever had a friend that they was mad because you're mad? That's your real friend right there. Girl, he what? They get madder than you, right? So you call your homeboy, he's ready to run. It's like, whoa, I was just. So if God is mad about something, okay, so that's righteous indignation is what it's called, right? That's cool, right? There's appropriate anger, then there's inappropriate anger. Inappropriate anger is driven by self-centered emotions. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, so anger is neither good or bad. Anger is a morally neutral emotional response of protective preservation. Peep that. It's a morally neutral emotional response. If y'all stay with me, we'll go somewhere. Now, we're not talking about God's wrath. That's a whole nother sermon. We're talking about humans' wrath. All right? Anger is neither good or bad. It is a morally neutral emotional response. If you've ever felt angry, it's okay. Okay? That at the point you felt angry is 100% okay. Good. Now, what's the nuance between anger and wrath? Great question. I'm glad you asked. Wrath is uncontrolled anger that is vengeful and spiteful. Y'all all right? Anger wants answers. Wrath wants revenge. Anger wants answers. Wrath wants revenge. Wrath is a sneaky, stealthy sickness. And the crazy thing is all of the symptoms of wrath are not always the same. This vice can have a vice grip on you and I, and it would allow us to think that we aren't being influenced by it. Wrath is a subtle strangler. Wrath can consume us for so long that we just adjust to life with it as normal. Wrath, vengeful, spiteful. I've got to get even. I want my lick back. Wrath is oftentimes, and because I'll say it like this, wrath is oftentimes birthed out of injustice against against you or against someone you love. Wrath is oftentimes birthed out of that, right? So wrath, in some sense, can be justified. When you do something to me unwarranted, it's almost natural for me to say, well, since you did that, I thought I had my real church. Where my church? Y'all brought the church face today? Since you did that to me, don't even worry. Okay, all right. So wrath, in some sense, can be justified. And since wrath can be justified, it's very rarely repented of. Because we can make an excuse why we should be angry and we should keep that anger. But they the ones that, and since wrath can be justified, it's very rarely repented of. This uncontrolled anger is real because life is real. After what they did to me, I got a right to feel like this. After how they treated me, oh, I promise you, I have a right to feel like this. No, they're not getting off on this easy. No. I gave them the best years of my life. I gave them my prime years, only to be betrayed. I said I do, but that was under the pretense that both of us agreed that we were going to say I do to each other, not bring somebody else in this. Now, I meant what I said. Did you mean what you said? So now I got to live with the hurt of something you did to me. And you mean to tell me I can't get mad about it? No. Oh, no, I'm mad. I promise you I'm mad. I am upset. I worked there for 28 years. How can I show up and you tell me to help train the person that's getting ready to take the position that I'm in for $10 less than me? The devil is a bold-faced, bald-head. I'm sorry, y'all. The devil is a lie is what I was trying to say. I gave them everything. I came in when I was sick. I canceled vacation. I took vacation days off. I didn't even use all my PTO. And you got the nerve to tell me, well, we're moving in a different direction. Okay. Me too. I let you borrow money because we cool like that. So now I can't get my money back, and that's cool. But you're dodging me as if I owe you money. At least come tell me. I see you on Facebook, on Instagram. You're traveling. Like, you're everywhere. Can I get my $20 is all I'm trying to say. You're going places I can't go because I gave you the money that I would have used in order to go there. So now I'm mad. And I have a justifiable reason. So now I have people that I love dearly, people that I love dearly that have done things to me that they should not have done, or people that I love dearly that allowed things to happen to me and they were there. I told them, I tried to tell them. They didn't believe me. And now I got to deal with the pain of what happened, and I got to deal with the pain of the fact that I'm mad at the person that I really love. So how mad can I really be? It's a trip when you love the person you're angry at, because you can't hurt them. Somehow, when you say hurt, you shouldn't hurt them. The person I love, is it real yet? Is it real yet that the person I love manipulated me and betrayed me, didn't protect me, and now I'm mad because I'm finding text messages of stuff that we could have talked about? Why are you confiding in somebody else? So we understand that anger is a secondary emotion. We got it, right? You feel something first and then you feel angry. I get it 100%. But I'm not dealing with the first one. I'm dealing with the anger. I'm mad. And now I want revenge. See, I knew I was going to lose my church right there. Let me say it one more time. I'm mad and I want revenge. You're talking about turn the other cheek. I don't want to do that. I want to slap theirs. And they deserve it. This video is going to get 2 likes. It's going to be me and Pastor Sonja. That's it. It's a great message, babe. She's going to be in the comments. It's a great message. Thank you, babe. She's the only one. Ephesians 4:26 says this. Watch this. Turn to me. Turn there. Some things I put on the screen. Other things you just got to turn there because I want you to feel like you've been to church today. Amen. You know, you go to church, everything is on the screen. Everything's so pre-prepared and all this stuff, and it's all produced. No, turn in your Bible. Amen. Turn in your Bible app, whatever you have, to Ephesians chapter number 4. Watch what Paul says. Paul is absolutely insane. Watch what he says. He says, he comes for all of y'all. Watch this. Y'all, not me. I'm hiding. Paul says, in your anger, do not sin. And do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. All right, so this convicts it. Let me tell you something. I can go to sleep. I can go to sleep right now. If y'all get too quiet, I'll go to sleep on you now. Paul is saying, in your anger, that gives the presupposition or the idea that there are going to be times where I am angry. Cool. He says, when you're in your anger, do me a favor. Don't sin, though. So he separates the sin from the anger. He says, in your anger, you mad? Yes. You want to cut them? Yes. You want to cuss? Yes. Just hold off. Then he says, and don't give the devil, what did he say? He says, don't let the sun go down in your wrath, and do not give the devil a foothold. It's messed me up. Because I thought wrath was always, I thought wrath only dealt with the action. But then when I went and did some research on that word foothold, this is what I thought about foothold. Y'all just roll with me for a moment. Foothold, I'm thinking this. Somebody's maybe climbing a mountain or something. climbing a wall, rock wall or something, and put their foot there to help them get up. So I'm like, it's a foothold. See, I know Christ. I don't know all of this other stuff. Right? I'm thinking a foothold. Okay, a hole on the ground where your foot goes. I don't know. Right? But that word in the original language is actually, don't give the devil a room. So if you picture your heart as a house, which room does the devil have? The room where the anger lives. The room where the wrath lives. So he says, don't give the devil room. Because if you reserve room for the devil, wrath will live in you forever. He said, why? Of course he's going to come visit. He's going to pull on that. You gave him a room, is in essence what he's saying. Watch what he says. Watch what he says. Verse number 29. Ephesians 4:29 says, do not, here we go. Watch this. Do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. This is the context of being angry. Y'all all right? This is the context of wrath. You good? Everybody okay? Do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Watch your mouth. I'm just telling you what Paul said. Don't leave, said Pastor. Paul said, what's unwholesome talk then? Great question. I'm glad you asked. If in fact, he's talking about the only talk that should be coming out of our mouths is what is helpful for building others up, then that must mean that unwholesome talk is communication that breaks other people down. So you mean to tell me I can be angry, but you don't want me to tell them off? This is probably, I don't know. He goes on to say, verse number 31, he says this, Paul is cold-blooded. Y'all go back and read this whole chapter when you get home. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice. Paul said, see, some of y'all have a fighting anointing. And he says that brawling spirit. And then he goes on to say, be kind, be compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ forgave you. Now, the reason that is major is because in the context of this anger piece, he's saying, don't ever forget that God forgave you. And watch this. This is for grown people only. Watch this. Mature ears only. And if you think somebody did worse to you than what you did to God, you are delusional. This is what Paul said. There's some models of how it is that we are mad. I'm doing great on time. There's some models on how it is that we are mad. Maybe some of us are mad like Moses. Right? Pete Moses. You know Moses, right? The brother with a stick and a stutter that became a leader like none other. Moses was tapped on his shoulder by God to go get himself into a fight that had nothing to do with him. So here it is. Moses, go talk to Pharaoh, let my people go, this whole deal, right? He gets with them. They go out into the wilderness, and they're like, yo, Moses, you should have left us there. Moses is like, y'all are the whole reason I'm in the situation I'm in. You got to remember, I wasn't in bondage. So Moses is talking to people who are ungrateful for his sacrifice. Does that make you mad? What are you talking about? I'm working 2 jobs to provide for you. Hello. I'm doing overtime and doing all of these. I'm sacrificing and all of this. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you and us. Does that make you angry? Maybe you're mad like Moses. Maybe you're mad like Job. Job, y'all know Job, the story of Job. I'll get to the text. Just roll with me for a moment. You know the story of Job. Job lost everything he had, this whole deal, and his body was with boils on it and all of this. And his wife comes to him and said, why don't you curse God and died? And this whole thing, his friends were coming, and this whole conversation is happening. And Job, not only did Job lose stuff, it's interesting how when we hear that text, we spend more time on the stuff that Job lost. And we don't deal with the fact that he lost people too. Does that make you mad? That you know you serve a God that could have stepped in, but you feel like he didn't? Why you didn't stop this? Maybe you got the anger like, maybe you have the anger like Hosea. Hosea with this wife named Gomer. Gomer would go out and do her own thing, woman of the street, for real. And Hosea was like, God, would you do me a favor? Let me leave her. I don't want anything to do with that. And God is like, nope, that's your assignment. Have you ever got mad at God for the assignment he gave you? How come I can't do what they do, God? You ever say that? God, they get to do everything. You ever looked at God like this? It's like, God, they get to do everything. They can move to any state in the world, any city. They just get up. As soon as I get ready, you start burdening my heart, telling me no. Every time I want to do something I want to do, God is like, no. I'm like, well, they could just do it. Don't say anything. Have you ever got mad at your assignment? You're like, this ain't fair. I remember, I don't even say like transparent. I'm going to be real transparent. I'm always that. So I remember one time I had a moment, y'all. I was like, this ain't fair. This ain't fair. Because they get to do things with the support that they need. I'm telling you, keeping a buck with you, it's not fair. How come everything that I have to do, I got to start from the ground zero? Can somebody please just come drop $500,000 on my head? Can I keep it real? It's not fair. And I'm mad at my assignment. Somebody say anger. Anger. There's a few ways. The thing about wrath and anger is so interesting because it doesn't always show up the same way. And if you're not careful, you will think that because it doesn't show up the same way every time, that it's not the same thing. That's not the case. There's a few ways in which wrath shows up. There's 3 responses to wrath. Watch this. Number 1 is the infuriated and impulsive. These are the people that react now and regret later. Let's see if you know somebody like this. They get so angry, they engage in illicit, impulsive behavior, either towards someone or something. They are slaves to their fits and fights. Every conversation is a minefield waiting to explode. They mask their real pain by becoming verbally or physically abusive and aggressive. They will crash out and expect you to excuse it. This is the person, when they get mad, you better watch out. Wherever you show out at is where you're getting showed out on. This is that. No, don't hold me back. No, you want to talk. Let's go. This is the sister with the Vaseline in her back pocket. She like, listen. This is the brother that's ready to go pop the trunk. Y'all playing basketball. Nobody needs to die. It's just an argument. They just said foul or travel, it's okay. Right? This is, they get so furious that they become impulsive. So they react now and then regret later. Oh, I shouldn't have did that. And here's the problem with that person, because they get intoxicated with this anger emotion, they think once they come off of the high of that emotion, everybody else should just excuse it, what they did in the emotion. So you got upset, you cursed me out, You calm down, and now you want me to act like that didn't just happen. You got upset. You excused me out of your presence. And now that you've come down off of that high of intoxication, you want me to be okay with you and act like everything's cool. It's not. Infuriated and impulsive. These people will crash out. What does that mean? Go crazy at any given moment. You better watch out. You might be sitting, when you come to church, you better leave people alone. You don't know who you see. Oh, Jesus. There's infuriated and impulsive. They cuss, they yell, they throw things, they scratch cars, sugar in the tank, flatten tires, break windows out the car, bust the windows out your car. Genesis 4 gives us an example of that impulsive energy. Genesis 4 talks about Cain and Abel, this idea that it says Cain became furious and he scowled with anger. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his own brother. And then he didn't just attack him, he killed him. React now, regret later. How many of us, don't answer, how many of us have reacted and then regretted? Oh, I shouldn't have. I ain't had to go that far. You see this in marriage a lot. Just because we're mad, you need to understand that there are certain words, Pastor Sonja and I, we call them red words. In other words, there are words you don't say. Now, we can argue, and we can go back and forth. We can disagree, but don't do that. And that's why your daddy never wanted nothing to do with you. Now, wait. Come on. That's why all your friends don't like to talk. Wait, hold on. I thought we were just arguing. Let's keep this here. Impulsive. Trying to win the argument so bad, they'll say anything. Maybe you know somebody like that. I don't know. Proverbs 15 and 18 says this in regards to that. Watch what it says. It says, a hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he is slow to anger, calms disputes. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife. I want to say that, I didn't say this the first time. I should have said this, but I didn't. It just kind of hit me. You know, ladies, if you're dealing with a man with a hot temper, run. If he has a hot temper and is not actively engaged in some type of therapeutic Christian method to taper that, hello, run. This is your sign and this is your warning. If he mad, knows he gets, man, sometimes I just go off and I go crazy. Okay, well, what are we doing about that? Nothing. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll get back to the sermon now. You got to be a lot of things, man. You got to preach all, So there's the infuriated and the impulsive. And then there is the silent and seething. These people don't get violent, they get silent. They are filled with intense and unexpressed anger. They suffer from what they won't say. Their unwillingness to address their anger begins to show up in their physical bodies as stress, high blood pressure, migraines, and all types of other chronic pain. Silent seethers live in denial, refusing to admit that they are actually angry. What's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm good. Nah, I'm good. You sure? You seem like you're a little bit. Nah, I'm good. I'm okay. Don't trust me. I'm good. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm okay. I'm all right. No, trust me. Go ahead. Go hang out with your little friends. No, it's cool. You got to hang out with your little friends. It's cool. How do you feel about the changes that we're making in this organization? It's great. I actually think, it's really good that we're moving in this direction, and I think that for the betterment of the team, it's probably a direction that we should be going. That's what we're saying, but we're lying. Tell the truth. You can't believe that they moved you out of that position. Tell the truth. You are upset, silent and seething. It's what I call, it's like the crock pot anger. This generation don't even know what a crock pot, Lord. Y'all Google a crock pot. Somebody put a crock pot on the screen. I don't know. I'm just a crock pot is when you put something in the crock pot and it just cooks for hours. You know, microwave here. It just sits there all day. And the Lord have mercy, I can't even talk. I was thinking about the spices and all of that. It just sits there, just sitting there, stewing, simmering, thank you, silent and seething. It's just, you're just so mad, you won't say nothing. And you won't admit that you're mad, because you see admitting, not you, but these people see admitting. You see what I did there? These people back here, where nobody is, these people see that as a sign of weakness. So we put on this facade of nothing bothers me. No, I'm not mad. I just make the adjustment and keep on moving. You know, it is what it is. You know, people come, people go. You know how it is. You know, you just got to keep on trucking, right? Right? Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers us out of them all. How you doing today? I'm blessed and highly favored. Yes, I am. Too blessed to be stressed. I promise you. Boy, wasn't church good today? Oh, absolutely. Too anointed to be disappointed. And deep down inside, you're silent, but you're. It's a trip, because when you're silent, nobody knows to come to you and ask you about whether or not you're angry, because we're only familiar with one variation of how anger shows itself. So these people are maybe infuriated and impulsive, maybe silent and seething. Did you know, as it relates to silent and seething, that every time you swallow your anger, your body keeps score? Is this all right, or y'all want another message? Because we'll come next week, we'll preach something happy, a happy message. It's gonna be called Happy Message next week. It's gonna say happy. Every time you swallow your anger, your body keeps score. Why do I keep getting headaches all the time, and migraines, and high blood pressure, and cortisol spiking out the roof, and stress, and I'm tired and fatigue, and we think it's all physical, and some of that stuff is not physical. It's emotional and mental, and it's impacting our physical bodies. And silent seethers, this is the thing that you suffer with the most, because you won't let anybody in to relieve that pressure. You just hold it. But your body is keeping score. Your body is keeping score, and we run into doctors, and we should always do that. And some of the issue that they're treating is not physical. Some of it is undealt with anger and undealt with emotions. The weeping prophet Jeremiah says this, and he says this in Jeremiah 15:17. He says, I stayed by myself and was filled with anger. Why do I keep on suffering, he says? Why are my wounds uncurable? Why won't they heal? Do you hear that language? He sounds like he's full of something. This is what most believers are. Again, most believers are silent seethers. They cover up things in a spiritual language, some type of religious rhetoric, and try and use scriptures to cover up their real issues. So maybe you're not that. Maybe you are angry and absorbing. These are the people that's mad that they're mad. I can't believe I'm still mad at that. So they blame themselves for the behavior of others. They point the finger inwardly, then punish themselves and excuse others. They are angry that they are angry. They soak up the blame in an attempt to diffuse it, but will eventually end up imploding or exploding. This is the person that absorbs anger, and at some point, they will explode. This is the person that's going to absorb all of it's thing after thing after thing after thing. This person, when they explode, it will be calculated. It will be premeditated. They will have an alibi. Girl, tell them I was with you till 12. Didn't tell them. They will have an alibi because of all that they have absorbed. People are always, watch this. This is for the people who are always diffusing the arguments for the sake of others. When you have a family and you have to jump in all the time, and you're the middle, the person, you're like, wait, everybody, okay, don't kill each other. What they're trying to tell you is this, and then you take their part, and what they're trying to say is this. You become a mediator, but you don't understand what that's doing to you. This is all right. I got to go. This vice has a vice grip on so many of us. The issue that we have to deal with and we have to realize about wrath is that wrath ruins our worship to God. You can't worship a God that you're holding a grudge against. Wrath ruins our walk with God. We won't obey a word when we have uncommunicated anger towards him. Wrath ruins our worth in God. Wrath will blind us to the beauty of each day because we're so angry about what was. Sometimes we're blinded by our wrath, right? We're seeing blood, so to speak. And how do we deal with this, though? How do we handle this? Well, here's what James says. The brother of Jesus, he says this in James chapter number 1, verse number 19. He says this, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen. Wait, pause, look at me. Quick to listen to who? Because when I said everyone should be quick to listen, y'all was like, listen. They need to listen to me. Well, in a conversation, absolutely, we should be quick to listen to each other, sure, to get right understanding, absolutely. But ultimately, to God. What does he say about a thing? Quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Now, quick to listen, not too bad. Slow to speak, that's the one. Because if you're anything like me or somebody I know that's like me, they got my first and last name. See, I'm putting myself out there, and I feel like y'all leaving me hanging. Very rarely are you going to say something to me and I not have a response. Locked and loaded. Wait, what's going on here? I feel what is this? Oh, no, I got something to say. Very rare. You do something, oh, okay, yeah, but the reason I did it is because you were, you know anybody like that? He says quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. In essence, he's saying do the work before you get angry. Slow to become angry. Now, you do get angry, cool, you're not sinning, morally neutral. Be angry and don't sin, but he says, let's do some work on the front end. Then, okay, it didn't work, right? You're angry, cool, you're still in the safe zone. Now, don't get vengeful, don't get spiteful. I got to get back what they did to me. I don't want to be like Jonah. Jonah's like, no, I don't want to go preach to the Ninevites. You know why I don't want to preach? Because of how they treated my people. Okay? So God, I'm going to disobey you because I'm so angry with them, and now I'm angry with you because you gave me the assignment to go preach to them. No, I don't want to because you're going to forgive them, and they need to feel it. You ever felt like that? You ever felt like, no, pray for my enemy? No, they should pray for themselves. Tell the truth. That sounds real good. As believers, we're supposed to be praying for, yes. But sometimes, I don't want to pray for them. Sometimes, I want them to get what they deserve. And God says, I hear you, but do you understand that the anger that you're housing in the foothold or the room of your heart is not hindering the person you have anger towards? It's hindering you. So you don't understand, you're causing self-inflicted pain, hating somebody who is not going to receive the benefit or the consequence of that hate. You're the one that's still there. They moved on with their life. So I've got issues. And if I'm honest, since I put myself out there the whole message, y'all laughed at me. Maybe some of us have issues too. Maybe I'm not the only one that have issues. Because the reality is, some of us, if we're honest, some of us are mad at people who we love. We're mad at people we love. Now I got to be around them, but every time I see them, some of us have to deal with what happened to us in our innocence that's still plaguing us now. And we got to see the people that were responsible. And I don't like that. I'm mad. So now I got to honor my mother and my father. Honor? For real? When my father has not done anything for me. Honor who? Honor his absenteeism? No, I'm mad. Honor my mother after what she said to me? I know that's my sister and all, but she shouldn't have did that now. Come on. I told my friend my best, my deepest secret. I told them what I was going through in my life. And you told somebody else? And you say, just pray for those, huh? That sounds easy. Easy to read, hard to do. So what then do we do then? I mean, if this stuff is real, and it is, what do you do with anger that's either already in the sector of wrath or on its way? What do I do when I'm so heated that I promise you this thing might go one way or the other? What do I do when I'm so mad all I can do is cry? Well, you make an exchange. Because the scripture says, cast your cares on him, Christ, because he cares for us. In essence, what he's saying is, I want you to give me what you don't want, and I can give you what you really need. Give me the anger, I'll give you back peace. Give me the anger, I'll give you back love. Give me the anger, I'll give you back joy. Give me the anger, I'll give you back long suffering. Give me the anger. If you will stand to your feet. I got issues. Some of us in here, our issue is with an individual or individuals. Some of us, our issues are with an individual or individuals. And here's a trip. Here's another nuance. It's possible to be mad at somebody who's no longer here. So now they're gone, but the pain and the anger is still here. So now where do I take that? Because I can't go have a closer conversation. Some of us are mad at individuals. Others of us, if we're honest, we got some anger towards God. It's not fair. You could have stepped in and did something. Some of us, I feel you here. Some of us have given God our religious test, our religious resume. God, I go to church. I give. I'm nice to people. How come this happened to me? And it can make you extremely upset. With every eye closed, every head bowed, I want to pray. I want to give space. I want to give space for every person that says, Pastor, that's me. I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to meet me at the altar. I want to pray in agreement with you that everything, every piece of anger that's housed in your heart for whatever reason, towards whatever individual, I want to pray that God will release it and make an exchange with you. If that's you, I want you to meet me at the altar. I want to pray over you. Come on. They're coming from all over. Come on. If there's conversations that you have to have, you have not had. There's things that you need to reconcile in your life. And you're like, God, come on. The thing about some of these individuals, all of these individuals, we talked about David and Job and Hosea and all these people, these were all believers. These were all individuals who had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
So a relationship with God in and of itself is